Hello everyone, Carpocoin here. I hope your week has been amazing and I'm back with a new video. So this video is part of the series I started last week, and today I'll be doing a 3-part supply challenge focusing on gouache. I'll be using these 5 colors of Phoenix watercolors, a Giotto, a Pelican, and 2, I have no idea what brand they are, gouache paints. These watercolor tubes are very opaque, so I count them as gouache. Also, they are so bad I had to soak them in water. I'll be using an Identi pen, random ballpoint pen, and a few cheap brushes. Since all of these gouache paints and watercolors are leftovers from other sets of watercolors and gouaches, they are the colors that I use. Nowadays I do use them, but back then I rarely used them, so they are almost new. And that means I was really uncomfortable with this color palette, and I had to add a tiny little bit of yellow, which is the only color that is extra to these ones. So I did cheat on this challenge by using that yellow. Aside from that, this video I wanted to talk about a controversial topic, art block, whether it exists or not. I think many people confuse art block with burnout, myself included. I also tend to confuse the two. And just a disclaimer, this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert in this. Okay, so I tend to call art block to what I feel when I'm burnt out. Meaning I've been working too hard on something, or I've been focused on something that is difficult to do or is confusing to think about for a long period of time, and then when I try to be creative, I can't. That's what I call burnout, and sometimes I call it art block, and many people also confuse the terms and call a same thing those two names. I will call it burnout because art block has been a very controversial term, and I think it's more burnout than a block, because although you feel blocked, it has a reason that you can explain. And I feel art block is something you can't explain why it's happening. And for me, you can see in this video that I was a bit rusty. I wasn't being able to draw anything amazing. The drawing underneath my palette, I really like it, but I thought I will save it for having fun with watercolors. So when I tried to create something just for this challenge, I was lost. I didn't know what to do. So I just drew an eye because that's what I'm comfortable with, and I didn't want to just go for something comfortable. So I started with this eye, and then a few days later, because I filmed this across the week, a few days later I decided, no, I can't use just this eye. This is like, why would I only do an eye? This is not challenging for me. Makes no sense. So I opened up a gardening book and decided to do a study of one of the photos they had there of a pond, like a little lake in a garden. That's what I meant. And I use that photo later on in the video when I get sick of having this weird eye looking at me. and I was able to use the colors I had. I didn't have to use much of the yellow. I used most of the other colors, and I think it turned out pretty okay. But focusing on this eye now, I think you can see that I was feeling really weird about what I was doing, and I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing. That's why over the course of those few days between, no, you see here me changing the page. Of the course of the few days between one painting and the other, I was doing a lot of things around the house and outside. I went to I went to the school to see which course I was taking next year, because I had to choose from a bunch of them, and I wasn't sure where I was going to be next year, and I was really nervous with it when I was doing that eye. Also, I managed to watch a bunch of presentations about many courses, about many courses that my school offers for people in the school year I am taking. And that's why I felt refreshed, even though I was still feeling a bit weird about painting. But while doing this painting of the pond, I felt challenged because it's not something I'm used to do. And in the end, I felt way better, because as sometimes challenging yourself to draw something you're not used to also actually helps with this weird burnout slash art block. And for me, at least, it helps a lot to switch from painting something related to characters and people and animals. Sometimes it helps to switch from that to landscapes and some backgrounds and scenery. And then if that isn't working, then I try, if I'm used to draw people, I draw animals. If I have been drawing a lot of animals, I switch to people. Anything. And that helps a lot for me. Also, watching all those presentations of other students roughly my age showing beautiful works that they have been doing in the classroom for this year, that inspired me a lot to go back and draw everything I can and simply study stuff and grow as an artist, you know? That's what I'm here to do. So all I have to tell you is experience everything you can and have as much fun as you can, because that's what will inspire you to keep creating, and that's all you need. So for now, I will... Oh, about next week, before I forget. Next week, I will do a 3-color challenge, but I will not be doing that with markers. I will be using Alexandra Mir's idea, because they suggested another 3-marker challenge, but since I have done one, I will be doing it with watercolors, and I will be selecting a different yellow, a random yellow that won't be lemon yellow, a red that won't be primary red, and a blue that won't be primary blue, so that I get really weird color palettes. And I'm going to do that for next week, because it's challenging, and at the same time you get a very cohesive piece. You don't have randomness so much that you can't do anything with it, because sometimes with 3 markers you get a really weird and not that good color range that happened the last time I tried to record one. I had a dark brown in a light pink and a very light gray, and I couldn't blend those. It was impossible to blend. And with watercolor, it's easy to blend, and for me, it's easier to control, but it's challenging still. And you have to know how to work with it. And I'm very excited to try only using 3 watercolors because I tend to use a bunch of them in my palette. But I'm only going to use 3 and it will be very fun. I'm very excited for that. So yes, next week, 3 color challenge, watercolor, and I will try to make it as interesting as I can. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe if you'd like to. I'll be releasing a video every Tuesday for the next 4 weeks. Yes, leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think about all of this I talked about. See you next week!